I'm Mike Hulvey, President and CEO of the RAB, and this is Radio on Main Street, the podcast all about radio. Earlier this spring, we had the opportunity at the NAB show in Las Vegas to sit down with thought leaders from the industry. We talked about their plans for the future, how they're collaborating with the RAB, how they're focused on advertiser outcomes, as well as what the future might hold. We want to thank our good friends at Inco in Benstown for allowing us to have the RAB Radio on Main Street podcast booth set up again this year at the NAB show exhibit floor. It was a wonderful opportunity to engage with industry thought leaders. Well, here we are in the 9th episode of our series, and you're going to hear a conversation that I had with Townsquare Media's Chief Operating Officer, Erik Hellum. Now, Erik also happens to be my boss. He's a big Green Bay Packer fan, as you clearly see. I kind of lean into the Indianapolis Colts. Erik also is the current chair of the RAB Board of Directors. Erik's leadership at the helm of the RAB has led to much of the industry's recent collaboration. In our conversation, you'll learn more about why and how it's taking place.
And special thanks to our friends at Inco who have provided this amazing set. Yes, this huge soundstage that we are broadcasting and interviewing and podcasting on here, literally on Main Street at the NAB. I'm joined by Erik Hellum, who is the COO of Townsquare. He is also, there's two things that he's also. One is the board chair of the RAB and a really hot Green Bay Packer fan who has, recently had the opportunity to enjoy the NFL Hall of Fame, or the NFL draft, but we're recording in early April. By the time you see that, you will already have that experience. I know you are very excited about that coming up.
Cannot wait. Like a couple days at the NFL draft happens to be my birthday in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Like, what better way to celebrate your birthday, huh?
All right, full disclosure, you are a cheesehead by birth, right?
Absolutely. I was going to come on set wearing one, but I thought that might look a little cheesy.
Well, well played. We asked the Inco folks if they could fly some cheese in and land it on your head, but
I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah, we're still waiting. Erik, I know you were excited about the level of cooperation that we're seeing in the industry. Over the last year, there have been a number of initiatives that everybody has gotten behind because we know it's for the greater good of the industry, but I don't remember a time where we've seen this level of cooperation for this long.
Mike, I've been in the industry now 38 years, not including my high school radio years. Those are professional where I'm actually earning a check.
I say you get credit, though.
Okay. But 38 earning a check. And I've never seen the industry work together like they are now. Part of that's out of necessity. Like the enemy's out there, the competition's out there. It's not within the walls of radio. And part of that is leadership. And part of that's your leadership and the leadership of the RAB. But it's been fantastic to see how well the industry has really come together on some important initiatives.
Let's talk about your journey at Townsquare. You are a company that is held as an example of embracing the new technologies and on the digital side and being more than just a radio company. Many have followed in terms of that positioning. But talk about that journey.
You know, we started this journey in 2010, and radio is always at the core of what we do. But the business thesis was, hey, let's buy great radio stations in markets 150 to 50 to 150, mid-sized markets. Markets with less competition than the top 50, good stable markets with military bases, state capitals, things like that. Let's buy great radio stations, polish them up, make them as strong as can be, like run a great radio business, but use the on-air personalities, but work with on-air personalities so that they can learn how to connect with their audience online in addition on air, and then work with our sales team and, with incredible relationships they have with their clients, help train them up and give them the resources to present digital solutions to their clients. So that was the thesis. And it's pretty exciting to see how it's worked out. I mean, now it's like over half of our revenues are digital. We built a significant digital business. And that's important. What I love is that we are connected with our audience in ways we never were before. We write 20,000 pieces of local content on a monthly basis, in addition to all the on-air shows we do. We work with over 25,000 small to mid-sized businesses, helping them with digital solutions in addition to selling radio. So it's pretty exciting.
When you were that kid in high school,
yeah,
and I know your backstory on that. Actually, recently, you did a documentary highlighting your high school radio station. The fact that that project got done is really exciting, but it's what started as a result of that. And the careers that began and the paths that were traveled down. We look here at the NAB show at a lot of young people who have been provided a scholarship to be here. Yeah. That was like you and I years ago, but we're given an opportunity to be here and look around and engage with broadcasters and understand that there is a future. What do you say to the young Erik Hellum or the young Mike Hulvey who is running around with a green tag on their lanyard saying student scholar about the future of this industry?
Yeah, by the way, so if you don't mind, I do want to do a shout out to that high school radio station because we literally, like, how lucky am I? I walk into high school in Burlington, Wisconsin, and it's one of 4 cities in the state of Wisconsin that had a high school radio station, and I never had to go to study hall. Like that was my love. That's what I did. I wanted that to be my career, and I got 4 years of practice before I got out of high school. I only bring that up because we literally last weekend celebrated our 50th anniversary of that wonderful station, and did produce a documentary. So what I'd say to those students, and I actually did yesterday. I was hanging out with a lot of students that were here as part of the Student Scholars Program. It's an absolutely wonderful industry. It's not the industry I walked into. The jobs available to those students are completely very different than they were when I started in the industry. But if you can come in and work hard and not have only on-air skills but online skills, or if you're selling, not just selling radio, but you really understand how to bring full funnel solutions and help your clients that are so confused by everything that's out there, really understand what they need to buy between radio plus digital to get the results they need. It's a wonderful place to be.
Yeah, when the eye is on we mentioned the end of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel, but the conversations, the ideas, the execution, the tactics are all about the result.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's our local clients that we're serving, and we have an amazing array of tools to be able to provide solutions that execute to the desired result. These didn't exist when we were kids. And that's where I think, when people ask me, are you excited about radio in the future? And I say, our greatest days haven't been here yet. Look at all the tools we have that we never had before.
I mean, you really, with radio plus digital, you can actually follow the consumer, help the client, connect the dots through every step of the consumer journey, all the way to the point of sale. I do have one thing I got to bring up, because somehow radio's become, everyone's put it at top of the funnel, build your brand, massive reach, get your name planted in the brain of the consumer. But we forget, sometimes we forget that radio's bottom of the funnel too. There's a reason why clients advertise heavy up on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays when people are out in their cars, because they hear that commercial, they respond to it. So radio needs to get better credit for that. But yes, with all the resources we have, we can actually take our entire client's budget and help get them the results they need and be really proud of the work we did for them.
Yeah, and hold your head high. Radio, hold your head high.
Very high.
So many reasons for that. When we talk about collaboration, Erik, and you also serve on the NAB board, and I was on the NAB board until I started in this role and then stepped out. But one of the things, and Gordon, Curtis and I talked about it in a conversation in an earlier podcast, the collaboration that is existing, again, not just like on the RAB buy side and the advocacy side, on the marketing side, it's so evident on the legislative side and the fights that are happening in Washington, but the wins that are coming for radio because of the strength of radio, but also because of the strength of the collaboration on both sides of it. We're going to get AM radio's bill done. Again, NAB, that's going to happen. There's other big issues that are happening in that space, but I think they run concurrently down the same path. And as radio leaders, we have to celebrate that and help each other accomplish those goals.
Yeah, I mean, at least in my time that I've been a board member of the RAB, or this is my second time at the NAB now as a board member, I've never seen the two organizations working together as close as they are. And again, they need to, but take AM radio in every car. Why wouldn't we? I agree with your enthusiasm for the fact that it will get passed. It's not passed yet, but I think it will. That's critical for us. I mean, the car is where majority of our listening is, and AM provides such vital information. And we always talk about, in moments of crisis and emergencies and bad weather and floods and that, but also just day to day with everything going on in your community and connecting people with their community. We have to fight for that. But NAB and RAB working together have a much better chance than each of us alone.
All right, put your glasses on, look over the hill a little bit. 2030, it's not that far away.
Yeah.
What does radio look like in 2030?
Well, I think the AM radio in every car act is passed, so we protected AM radio's position there. I believe we will see deregulation. I think that needs to happen quickly before the midterms. So I think you're going to see fewer owners per market, and I think you're going to see some benefits from a round of deregulation. That needs to happen. I mean, if you think about it, right now, 71 cents on every dollar is going to digital, which that's the trend. That's fine, right? But the problem is, out of those digital dollars, 75 cents leave the market. Like, they leave the market. They don't stay with local media. And to me, that's why whether we're talking about deregulation or we're talking about working together on all these other initiatives, at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is make sure we're keeping that money spent by our local clients in the local community, and the radio's in the center of that conversation and helping them do that. So we have to make sure that we're achieving that goal, and radio is a big part of it. Yeah.
Let's in our time's getting short, the 3-minute qualifier from Nielsen. Again, another point of collaboration with the industry. When you first heard about it last summer, when there was a large group of us that were called to New York, and the idea was introduced. If I had my stopwatch on, it would have lasted about 2.3 nanoseconds from idea shared to, yes, this is something we want to do. It was obvious.
Right.
From that point to where we are in the spring of 2025, kind of walk me through your thought process related to the modernization of measurement.
Well, we all sat in that room and Nielsen said, right now radio, somebody has to be recorded through PPM, portable people meter, listening to at least 5 minutes for radio to get credit for that. And you just think about how crazy that is. You can watch a YouTube video for 5 seconds, and they get credit. And we had to be listened to for 5 minutes. So Nielsen said, if that goes to 3, and we're going to take that to 3, and as a result, audience is going to be up 15 to 20%. I've never seen a group of broadcasters agree on anything that fast in my entire life, because that was like June of last year.
It was June.
And literally by January, it's a reality. We're seeing the ratings. We know they're up. And we know that, we knew that audience existed, and it's great to see it there. I also have to say that in terms of moving it forward that fast, RAB and you, Mike, and your team played a valuable role in really leading from the front and making sure that as an industry, we were singing from the same hymn book, and telling the same story with the One Voice campaign. So great job on that.
Well, Team RAB rose to the occasion for sure. And One Voice for Radio, those resources that are on the website, go to the one sheet, the third one sheet, so one sheet number 3, and it lays out the differences in measurement. We talk about a level playing field, but to your point, you can look at all of the competitors,
right?
Not all, but many of the competitors that radio has, and you can see how they're measured at a glance, and it reinforces the point that you just made. So One Voice for Radio,
page 3,
resource sheet number 3, right. And it reinforces that. Our team is constantly updating that as the latest information rolls out. We update those sheets. All of that, Erik, again, from RAB leadership, is in front of the paywall. Everything that we've created, everything related to One Voice for Radio, This is Radio, the Nielsen 3-minute qualifier, everything's in front.
Yeah.
We've just opened it up the store, come on in and take it and use it, because it is so important to radio. So I'll end now with this, and that is your leadership on RAB. You've been a terrific leader. You're a visionary. You started some things that maybe the public isn't aware of, but certainly former board chairs are,
right, with
us honoring service and volunteerism. But what does it mean to you to lead the industry's advocacy group?
I mean, again, I mentioned my high school radio station. You're talking to a guy who was a kid 13-year-old kid at a high school radio station in a town of 7,000 in Wisconsin that never thought I'd be sitting here talking to Mike Hulvey, the guy who's running the RAB. So it means all the world to me. You get to that part of your career where you're like, I have to give back. Like, I've gotten so much from this industry. What can I give back? And I think this is a pivotal point in the industry where we all have to band together and do the right thing for radio. You're talking about one voice with the Nielsen measurement. There's so many other things you and I have talked about that we can work together on to move radio forward. So if I can be part of that and I can help lead the conversation and work with you, team up with you and the RAB team to do that, like, it's honor of a lifetime.
Well, Rich Tunkel has said we are in the second inning. Got a long way to go, and we know that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the things that we will all do together. So, Erik, thanks for your leadership. Thanks for your friendship. Thank you for sharing a few minutes here on Main Street with us at NAB. And again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
Erik's voice is an important one, both at the RAB and the NAB, and with the success of Townsquare Media as they continue to drive in their local markets. There is a lot of valuable takeaways from our conversation. And above all, I think having passion and pride for our business, and to echo our overarching initiative, this is radio, why we are all better together.
If you'd like to learn more about radio and its many benefits, we invite you to visit us at rab.com, or you can email us directly at askrab@rab.com. Until next time, it's Radio on Main Street.